There's fear that the tariffs are going to lead to a recession. A lot of that fear stems from the supply chain disruption that's currently taking place, with a lot of imports waiting at the docks. They're saying this supply chain disruption could potentially lead to empty shelves at your local grocery market. So with us having the tariff trade series, I wanted to touch on exactly what a tariff is. Tariffs are a special tax added to the imports from other countries. They're added to the price of the imports as the import takes place. So let's look at it in simple, practical terms, okay? So you have the auto industry. You have American-made cars. You have Chinese-made cars. So let's say that for your American car, we're gonna pay $100, right? We're just keeping it simple. Now let's say the Chinese decide to manufacture and sell cars in America for $75. Okay, well, to balance that out, what America decides to do is apply a tariff to Chinese manufactured cars of 100%. Well, what is that gonna do? That's gonna cause the importers of the Chinese manufactured cars to increase the price so that they can pay for the tariff, because tariffs are paid for by the importers initially. And so what happens is they increase the price. Now that Chinese made car costs you $150. Now pay attention to what I said. It costs you, it costs me, it costs us, the consumers here in America. We're going to pay the higher prices for these goods that are manufactured in these countries where the tariffs are being applied to. So that's just a simple way of seeing how tariffs, right, applied to these foreign countries will impact me and you as a consumer. Now let's look at another scenario on the business side, okay? So you have tech companies that use microchips in their goods, in their products, right? Now, where are the microchips being manufactured at? Well, they're not being manufactured in the United States. They're being manufactured overseas. Say, for example, Taiwan. Taiwan is the largest, as far as a country is concerned, the largest manufacturing of microchips takes place in Taiwan. So if there's a tariff placed on microchips in Taiwan and US companies are manufacturing products here in the US with Taiwan-made microchips, well then what does that mean? That means as they import those microchips from Taiwan, it's gonna cost these US companies more, see, to manufacture those same products. And what do you think they're gonna do? How are they gonna pay that tariff or that tax? Well, they're going to increase the prices of those goods that they use microchips for. And who's gonna pay those prices? You and I, the consumer. So as you see, either way, whether the products are being manufactured overseas or even if the products are being manufactured here at home in the United States, which is where I am, then that tariff, that tax is gonna cause an increase in the price, and that increase in price is gonna be paid for by you and I. So now knowing this, knowing that these tariffs, this tax on imported goods from other countries are gonna affect us as consumers with higher prices, then we wanna know, well, why are these tariffs being implemented in the first place? And there are three main reasons why a country would implement tariffs on foreign countries. Three reasons are revenue, 2, protecting domestic businesses, 3, as a political incentive against other countries. Revenue is pretty straightforward, right? Governments tax, supposedly, to fund different initiatives for the country, right? And so when you impose tariffs on foreign countries, then you're taking in revenue from the importers of the goods, and you could use that revenue for different initiatives. Tariffs could potentially impact domestic businesses in a way that causes the consumer to support domestic companies by buying products because it would make them more competitive in the market opposed to imported products from foreign countries. A good example of that is what happened with Detroit and the auto industry. So with the advancement of globalization and these businesses seeking lower costs in foreign countries, a lot of the automaking was shipped abroad, right, to these different countries. And so what happened domestically is a lot of the factories, a lot of the plants, right, ended up shutting down. A lot of people lost their jobs, and those jobs were lost to foreign automakers. So the possibility that tariffs can make imports more costly and inconvenient would encourage consumers to shop locally and support domestic businesses. The problem and the issue that we're now experiencing now that these tariffs have gone into effect is the cost that will be passed on to the consumer. And right now, a lot of people around the country, if you talk to them, you'll see that we really haven't seen these cost increases yet. We really haven't seen in real time what that's going to look like at our local grocery store, at our Walmarts and Dollar Generals. But if you pay attention, you'll see Shein and Temu will be raising prices. You're going to see prices increase at Walmart. There's potential that you may start to see shelves start getting a little lighter. Maybe even you may see empty shelves, as these goods and these imports sit at docks, wait to be, charged. We wait for that revenue to be collected, waiting for these trade deals to be secured. And so the question is, how long can the consumer wait through these higher prices, which haven't even hit yet? It's all still in the pipeline. Here in America, in the United States, we love to spend money. We love to consume. We love to go shopping. Okay, we love to buy things. And so as the prices start increasing and things, right, goods, services get more expensive, how long can we wait this supposed trade war out? Because the president of China said that they're willing to fight this thing out to the very end, right? And so with China being a communist political country, the people just have to follow what the government says. And if the government says that, hey, we're willing to fight this thing out to the very end, then they have no problem, seeing their people starving. They have no problem seeing their people suffering. They have no problem seeing their people panicked, if that's the case. And see, that's the thing about it. We don't know what the Chinese people think and feel about the situation. The Chinese people, they may, in their mind and their culture, be riding 100% with their government. Say, hey, look, you know what, whatever we need to do, whatever needs to happen, if we have to sacrifice, we're willing to sacrifice. You could imagine the Chinese people being like that with their history and their heritage and their culture, and the honor and the different things that we've seen from them over the decades and centuries. You could imagine the Chinese people being like that. But, then again, we don't know, right? Because we don't know facts. We don't know in real time what's coming out of China as far as news is concerned. We don't even know what really comes out of our own country as far as news and media is concerned, right? Because most of the time it's going to be bogus. And so right now, what we need to do as productive consumers is, once again, rinse and repeat. Stick to our basics. Make sure we keep our income up. Make sure we keep our expenses down. Use your budget. Control your finances. Manage it. Be disciplined. And as the prices start increasing, you just got to hold on, because we don't know how long this is going to play out. We don't know how long it's going to take before the administration reaches a deal with China and the rest of these countries. And so, don't be bothered and be worried about what's coming out in the news. Just stick to the principles. All right, stay grounded and everything will work out for you. Man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Definitely comment on this because this is a very big topic. These things are very serious that's going on right now in real time. And it's all about just being aware and reacting. So like, comment, subscribe. I'll check y'all out on the next one. Peace.